All right, and continuing on with our series on the Freedom PS21 Pellet stove. In this video, we are going to be going through replacement of the vacuum switch, sometimes referred to as a pressure switch. So vacuum switch is going to be located right here. As you will see with the vacuum switch, it has a tube that goes all the way up and that goes into the firebox. So our vacuum switch is essentially checking for negative pressure inside of that firebox. So anytime we're having an issue with an NP error on the control board, or anytime we're having an issue with our fuel not feeding, we definitely want to take a closer look. Any air loss or air blockage can trip this vacuum switch. So as again, you can see there's a hose running from here into the fire pot. That is going to be one of the first things that we removed, and we'll show you a couple different tips and tricks as we do so. But first off, we're going to grab the electrical. So same as a lot of the other components, we just have a simple kind of Molex plug right here that pops out for our electrical. This one is a little tighter than most, so be patient, and it pulls out. It only is able to go in one way. So once we have that out, and again, always important, the stove is unplugged from the wall when we're working with electrical componentry. Next up, we're gonna release the hose. So we just have a small brass clip right there. We're gonna use a pliers, squeeze the two ends, run that a little bit further up the hose, and we should be able to wiggle that hose right off the switch. Yeah, sometimes it's good to hold your hand on the switch, get a little leverage. Hose is off. Now again, this hose goes directly into the firebox. Nate, why don't you pop open that firebox door for me? So we have a small port right there where it is sensing the negative pressure inside the firebox. Now there may be times where ash or blockage might be getting there, causing an issue with proper vacuum and giving us that NP error, which stands for negative pressure. So easiest and best way to make sure that that is clear is we just grab this hose and we blow on it. Just like that. We want to make sure that we can feel air go all the way through that hose. As long as we feel that that's free and clear, we know that it's not plugged. It is also good to inspect the hose. Over time, this hose can get brittle. We have seen cracks, small pinholes, things like that. Again, any air loss or air blockage is going to trip that vac switch. So if we're running into issues, let's check the basic things first. Blow through that hose. Make sure that the hose is in good condition. Make sure that your front door gaskets and so forth look like they're sealing nice and tight all the way around, and all the ash is cleaned out of the stove and out of the exhaust. From there, we're going to go ahead and show you how the actual vac switch is removed. So now that we have the electrical off and we have the hose off, this is going to be mounted right here on the back side. So we just have two Allen bolts. So grab yourself a set of metric Allen wrenches, and we're just going to pull those right out. Shouldn't be too tight on here. Should just be able to loosen them and then grab them with our fingers. Once we're getting to the last bolt, we'll put a hand on the vacuum switch just so it doesn't fall onto our circuit board. So there's one out. We got the second one out. While Nate's pulling that out, I'm just gonna make a quick note right here. That hose went to the port that's closest to B. That port is marked with a minus symbol. So this particular vacuum switch has two ports that are on it. One is positive pressure, one is negative pressure. With this particular unit, we need to make sure that that hose is on the negative port or the negative nozzle. And there we go. Nate has it pulled out just like that. And that is our vacuum switch. It's also commonly referred to as a pressure switch or a low draft switch, but that is how we pull that switch out of the unit. So we're just going to go ahead and put it back in, all in reverse order. So the very first thing that we're going to do is put it up, and we're going to get it locked in so it's nice and secure when we're getting the hose on and the electrical connection. So as you can see, Nate's just putting one bolt through there, and that helps him to be able to kind of line up those threads just a little bit better as we get that lined up. Patience is a virtue, and a good thing that Nate has a bunch of it. So second bolt going in. Again, keeping them pretty loose until we get these threaded. Makes our life a lot easier. No need to over crank these down, we're just snugging them up. So again, he put it in the exact same way that it takes it out. It's the easiest way, making sure that the negative port is to you, okay? Be the best way to be able to connect that hose and make sure that it's installed in there correctly. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and put the hose on. Let's slide up that brass clamp just a little bit. Make sure the hose is all the way down on the end of that nozzle or that little nipple that's on there. Just want to make sure it's all the way down. Super important. And then let's go ahead and grab the pliers. We're just going to squeeze our little brass clamp right here, and we're going to make sure that it's all the way to the edge right there. It's got to go over. Yep, that plastic, wiggle it, move it back and forth. We got to make sure it's all the way right there, just like that. So our hose is back on there nice and secure. And we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna pop in our electrical plug for this guy right there. So again, this can only go in one way. You will see small arrows on it there. And as you push that in, you will feel a click and you know that that is in there correct. So that's going to be a general overview of the vacuum switch or the pressure switch, how that comes out of there. Simple basic things to check for. Again, if you're running into issues where you're seeing an NP error on your user control board, those are a few things that you can check. We're always here, we're always happy to help. So if you need assistance, leave us a comment. We'll make sure that you're taken care of. Thanks again for joining us for this video, and we will see you on the next one.